She locks every door behind her, questioning everything we see. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I'm onto your tricks, Zach. Cut to black.
Spoilers ahead.
I cannot tell you how many times I have shouted at my TV when a character does something so utterly stupid just so the story can happen.
Appears to be completely sealed.
Barbarian, on the other hand, shows us how it should be done. The director Zach Kreger takes our heroine and puts her in the most typical horror scenario.
On a stormy night, a lone young woman must enter a creepy house with a mystery man she doesn't know.
This screams cliche, however, Zach treats us to surprise after surprise. She asks for proof of booking at the same location. She finds his ID and checks his name is the same as what he had said. She locks every door behind her. She doesn't accept any food or drink. We've all been told that one. She represents how we think we would approach a situation like this with common sense.
I just need to stop going back. Keep going back.
As the protagonist has demonstrated her previous behavior with abusive relationships, we as the audience empathize with her when she decides to go against her preservation and try to save the men held captive. She wasn't being stupid, she was being human. Just like how Nope reinvented the flashback, which I discuss here, Barbarian takes traditional structure, puts it on top of an old wall and takes a minigun to it. This structure looks a little like this. In Act 1, we meet the lead protagonist and the first male who she's initially suspicious of. By the end of this act, the man has been dispatched gruesomely and she's just about to be caught by the monster lurking in the shadows. Cut to black. In Act 2, we meet an entirely new character we haven't met before. An actor who's just been accused of rape by a co-star and his career is about to go up in flames. With the impending lawsuits and financial burdens, he goes to sell a house which just happens to be the same house we were in with the protagonist before. By the end of the act, he's also caught in the monster's trap and we find out that the protagonist is actually still alive. Now in Act 3, we meet an entirely new character again. We travel back in time and meet the original owner of the house as he leaves to go shopping. We quickly realise he's actually a serial killer and is most likely the cause of what's happening in the present day. We're ripped away from one storyline at the moment of highest drama. This technique draws us in whilst also still feeling integral to the story and its development and ultimately our understanding of the themes in the film. As the protagonist acts as the audience experience of the film's events, the other characters are used to explore Zach's hidden question.
Keith.
We immediately suspect him much like the protagonist. However, by the time we come to realize that he in fact was just a good person, he is gruesomely dispatched. This is designed to make us feel guilt for having suspected him, changing our perspective subtly but in an important way.
AJ.
His quite believable shock at the accusation, alongside the first male character being innocent, makes us feel less inclined in judging him as rashly as the first. However, as we learn more about him, it turns out that he in fact was guilty, but his ego wouldn't let him recognize his responsibility. In the final battle of the film, he shows his true colors when cornered on top of a tower. He chooses to throw the protagonist off the top of the tower to distract the monster and save himself.
The monster.
She evokes a sense of terror by the way she moves and seems to thrive in the pitch black tunnels that she inhabits. However, through the film we learn that she is in fact just a result of her upbringing, of terror by her father, being raised in pitch black tunnels and only a single VHS maternity tape on loop for education and any semblance of structure. Each of the characters on their own don't speak of anything that deep, but when combined, we're given a truly remarkable message. Never judge a book by its cover. Monsters aren't always evil, and just as easily there could be a monster lurking behind the most innocent face. One of the most standout moments for me is when I realised just how brilliant the casting is in Barbarian.
Bill Skarsgård.
It took me a moment, but then I realised this was none other than Bill Skarsgård, who plays the iconic It. Once this hit me, I was sure that due to his previous casting, he would ultimately become the monster, murderer, or antagonist. I was looking at everything he did to hunt for clues that he was more than what he'd stated.
What, do I look like some kind of monster?
When it's revealed that he is actually just a good person, I found myself betrayed by my own mind. I felt guilty that I decided his guilt from the first few seconds of the movie. This casting choice is brilliance. It keeps us on the edge before we ever meet the true monster. That way, the director can take time to explore the protagonist, the environment of the house, and start to hint at the more scary elements.
Justin Long.
When I saw him, I immediately assumed that he would be playing an innocent, nerdy guy. This is the role we've seen him play 100 times over in movies like Live Free or Die Hard, or the helpless boyfriend in Drag Me to Hell. He never plays the bad guy, and due to that, we leave ourselves open to Zach Cregger ripping the carpet out from under us again. And he does.
Hey! Come get your baby!
Richard Brake.
Richard Brake quite often plays dark characters or just downright antagonists. However, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I'm onto your tricks, Zach. We follow Richard on a long single shot from behind. It feels ominous, it doesn't feel right, but we just got hoodwinked twice and we're questioning everything we see. We assume that because the movie is making us feel uneasy on purpose, that this must mean that Richard Brake's character is actually innocent. Well, he goes on to kidnap and murder a bunch of women, so Zach got us again. Well, he got me, anyway. The trailer for Barbarian is a masterclass in mystery, raising one particular question.
What could possibly cause such terror in these people?
Well, you see, we derive the emotional weight of what we see or hear based on the reactions of other characters in a scene. So seeing someone screaming in terror triggers our mirror neurons and we start to feel the same way. Think of a time when someone was talking to you, but then they suddenly look over your shoulder. Your natural instinct was to probably turn and see what they've actually reacted to. This is the mirror neurons working. Bam! Science! The difference in film is that the director has control over when they allow you to look over your shoulder. So Zach has designed the trailer to make you feel terrified, utilizing many reaction shots. But the genius is that he never gives us even the slightest glimpse of what they're terrified of. This is the key to many successful horror movies and the origin of the belief that you shouldn't ever reveal the monster too early in the film, as it eradicates the audience's compulsion to find out what the answer is. However, not showing the monster isn't the only way to make a monster movie right. You can check out my episode on Jordan Peele's Nope here.